Hello, my name is Mike Murphy, and I'm here to give you an overview of the Let's Investigate Investigator Club curriculum. What is the Investigator Club? Here's what the publisher says. The Investigator Club Pre-Kindergarten Learning System is a comprehensive curriculum complete with all the literature, components, and teacher support materials built on the principle that children like to investigate and inquire. It is a whole child development program. This is what the publisher says about their theory about how children learn. First, children are naturally curious and love to investigate. Children learn what we teach them. Second, children learn by doing. Third, children learn from each other. And finally, children's learning begins from home. When I started to look at the research base, I could not find any field tests or empirical studies on the Investigator Club. So I looked into the authors. It was Jocelyn Cicerelli and Beth Allie Wise, who are experienced teachers and curriculum developers and authors of many children's early child education materials. They had senior program advisors for this Investigator Club were Dr. Sharon and Craig Ramey from Georgetown University, and they have currently moved on to Virginia Tech Carilion Research Institute. And so what I did was I reached out to them, and one night I sent an email to the Rameys, and I asked them, were there any field tests done? And I really honestly did not expect to get a response back, but I was surprised. The very next morning I got an email back from Dr. Ramey, and this is what he said. We do not know what field tests were done, although we heard there were some. Sorry, we have no contact information for the company and have not been in touch for many years. Now, keep in mind, this is still being used as their justification for their research. But I thanked him very much for responding. So it appeared to me that they had used a basic checklist approach to validating and certifying this curriculum. And so let me show you what I mean by that. So they determined there was major curriculum areas that were important that the Investigator Club covered. Oral language, phonological awareness, alphabet knowledge, concepts of print, writing, math, science, creative arts, and social emotional development. What the research did was gave a brief analysis of each of these items for the Investigator Club. So let me show you their report. Okay, this report by the Rameys was or is currently on their website when you look into the Investigator Club as a research justification. So basically, I go down to page number 12, and I'll show you what I mean. So research overview and implementation. So what they basically say, here's our major curriculum area, oral language, research on oral language. Talks about how important oral language is for the development of a child, and then it says this is where it's in the Investigator Club curriculum. And then I go to the next one, phonological awareness. There's a research on phonological awareness, and there's not that much there, 3 or 4 sentences, and then a lot of it's not that current. Some of it's books. I found very few empirical studies, and after the research, it shows this is where it is in the Investigator Club, and it goes through every alphabet knowledge and all those other curriculum areas. So basically, they kind of said these things are good for kids, and it is in the Investigator Club. And it's kind of intuitive that they should have these things. So I don't think they really researched that much other than just sort of validating that it had these important things. Okay, so the scope of the Investigator Club, it is pretty deep. It has many activities in each of these curriculum areas. It has lots of teacher flexibility and choice. It is well organized, and I think a teacher, once you got familiar with it, would like it because the lessons are all basically structured the same format. It includes families, has family connections, and it's designed for an entire school year, or what they're calling a school year is 30 weeks. Let me just show you a quick overview.
Let's Investigate and the 6 investigations each have their own teacher guide. These easy-to-use guides provide you with lesson choices and descriptions, as well as materials lists, objectives, and modifications for unique circumstances. As an example, let's look at the Let's Investigate teacher guide.
Before the first tab of each book, you'll find a table of contents, background information, and an introductory family letter. The first tab is called Daily Routines. Behind this tab, you'll find lessons you can use every day. Behind the second tab, you'll find ideas for 20 theme-specific learning centers, activities that children can choose and complete independently so you can meet with small groups. Most teachers set up and have children rotate through 3 to 5 centers over a few weeks before changing them. We provide 20 options in each of the 7 teacher guides, so you'll have a wide variety of choices. The next 8 tabs in Let's Investigate provide lessons for opening circle time, phonological awareness, alphabet knowledge, small group, whole group, and closing circle time. The other teacher guides include tabs for 4 weeks of lessons instead of 8. Let's study the opening circle time section in week 1 of Let's Investigate. Each opening circle time section opens with a model lesson. Model lessons have 4 steps to help your children better retain new knowledge. Set the stage, get started, do the activity, and make connections. On the 2 pages behind each model lesson, you will find 4 more opening circle time lesson choices, for a total of 5 opening circle time lessons for 1 week. Don't forget to use the 4-step model for every lesson, even for the shorter choice lessons. Watch for model lessons and choice lessons as you study opening circle time, small group, whole group, and closing circle time lessons in your teacher guides. After the weekly lesson plans, you will find the Family Involvement tab. Behind this tab are theme-related in-school and at-home learning activities for families. The last tab in each teacher guide is called Additional Resources. Behind this tab, you'll find a reproducible assessment checklist that includes the skills taught in that unit, as well as scripts for special stories called Flatboard Stories.
Okay, that's an overview of the program. Okay, here's the sequence. I'll just go over the first module. First module, or investigation, is 8 weeks long. It's a program overview, introduction, shows the routines, learning how the program works, and you have characters. Here they are. Each week introduces a new character, has their own unique characteristics. And first one is Dilly Gator. She is very brave. She's a club inventor, and she is the leader. JT Gator, he likes geography, he speaks many languages, and he's shy. The adult perspective is provided by Great Auntie Lou, and she's a storyteller, and she's really wise. Rosita Sausalita, she's kind of a girly girl, and she speaks Spanish, loves dancing and computers, and she's outgoing and fun. Manny Salamander, he likes sports. He likes letters and the sound they make, and he has a cool personality. His favorite sport is soccer. Chuck Wood, he is a builder. He's good with tools. He can build or construct anything. He has a can-do attitude. And then Bruno Busby, he brings the news, searches for information, and he has high energy. So those are the different characters. Okay, so let me go here. All right. So the focus is on the whole child. So it's unlike some of the curriculums that just focus on math or language. This one focuses on literacy, oral language, math, some social studies, science, creative arts, and social emotional development. Here is the overall sequence of the Investigator Club. So the first one, like we said, is 8 weeks. That's Let's Investigate. That's the introduction. The next one is called Under Construction, and it talks about homes, tools, where you live. The third one is Healthy You, and it's talks about your body, nutrition, and safety. You have Finny, Feathery, and Furry Friends, which is pets and animals. You have Splash and Dig, which is about water, lakes, and oceans. Watch It Grow, plants, trees, and groceries. And what I mean by that is how does something go from the farm all the way to the grocery store? And then you have Weather Watchers, which talks about weather, seasons, rain, snow, sunshine, things like that. Okay, so the scope and sequence, getting into the details. So you have these 7 major modules that I just showed you, and they're called investigations. Okay, so those modules are here. There's the different colors. Those are the modules, and then you have all these different tasks. For this one's like language development, literacy. All the different supporting tasks are listed here, and you can see by the intersection of the module and the task where you can find these things. Where you can, oh, I want to work on a particular task. Where can I do that? What module? Where am I going to get to that? So that's pretty easy to use, and it can make you, help you with your planning. Okay, there's a lot of depth in each investigation with flexibility to go, do what you go as deep as you want to go. Okay. I don't really know if I like the names for each module. For example, Finny, Feathery, and Friends. I mean, I had to look up what does that mean? Watch it grow. What does that mean? Does that mean watch me grow as a person or watch plants grow? So I think you get used to that pretty quickly once you figure it out. Started working with it. But at first, it was a little confusing for me. Okay, here's some sample lessons, small group lessons. This is a social studies lesson. This is from Chuck Wood, who likes to build things. So the objective is to identify common landscape features, create representations. So first is set the stage. You talk about Chuck Wood. Where does he live? What is his house like? What's his neighborhood like? And then you get started. You show a picture of a regular neighborhood, not where a woodchuck would live. Okay, and then you have blocks available. You get those all out, and then the children can build their own neighborhood. They build it after they learn about neighborhoods. You don't tell them how to build it. And then for make connections, what you do is you're gonna discuss what each child contributed. Now, when you're asking them questions, of course, you don't say, "Oh, that's really good. Oh, yours is good. You need to work on this or that." Well, you're going to just have them tell me about the street. Tell me about, do you have a fire department? Tell me about where your little children go to school, and you try to draw it out of them that way. Now, this pattern they showed set the stage, getting started, and the activity and make connections. That's for all the lessons throughout the whole program, which I thought was pretty good. Okay, here's a whole group lesson. This is my favorite. So it's Chuck Wood again, and so you're teaching the kids about direction and directionality. Under, around, over, through, the position of things, the order of things, taking turns. So here's you have this, set the stage, you get all the materials ready, you get the kids started going through the different obstacle course. This is just a sample one I found. You can be creative or complicated as you want, okay, or as simple as you want to make it, just using things in your classroom. And then you let the kids go through the obstacle course. And then at the end, you could make connections. Was it easy? Was it hard? What was your favorite? And have them tell you about it. Okay, so individualization. There are many options for individualization. You see all the different tasks. It's great for advanced learners because they can do many different things. It's good for kinesthetic learners. It comes with a CD, um, and the kids can dance and play along with the music, and they have like music and songs for all the different phases of the lessons, like opening circle time. It's good for auditory learners. Obviously, you have circle time. It's good for listening. Teachers have lots of flexibility to individualize the lessons. You have choices within each lesson. Um, and great for visual learners. They have big books, and they also have a English language learner program for Spanish. Okay, so assessment. At the back of each teacher guide, there is a reproducible assessment checklist, and the checklist has it's about 3 to 4 pages, 4 pages long, and then there is a pretty large block for the teacher to write comments. Um, it doesn't specifically say when you're supposed to do the assessment. It looks like about every 4 weeks. So at the end of the 4 week module, you should do an assessment. On the 8 week module, on the start of the year, you probably want to do it, halfway through. And so you can compare where the child is at the start of the module or investigation and how they're doing at the end. And you can send it home to the parents and they can sign off on it and check it out. You would look at the children's portfolios, so that implies each kid would have a portfolio. And they didn't say it, but I think you obviously do observations of the children as well. Okay, multicultural component. Uh, Not addressed specifically that much. However, I think by using the different animals, they all have their own strengths, they have their own uniqueness, things that they probably want to get better at. So it's kind of that's kind of their diversity. It's not a racially based diversity or religion. It's just that hey, we're all different. We all have something to contribute, and it's a good thing that we are. Okay, there is a Spanish version available for purchase. Okay, so this was, I think, probably the most interesting part of my investigation here. So um, I compared, did a comparison between the major curriculum areas identified in the Investigator Club: oral language, phonological language, alphabet knowledge, concept of print, writing, math, science, creative arts, social and emotional development, and compared those to the early learning foundations, domains, and volumes. So these are the different domains of the foundations: language, math, science, visual performing arts, social emotional development, history, social science, physical development, health, and English language development. And these are the different volumes, okay? First, second, and third. Now, there is a big emphasis on language and literacy. That it doesn't really market itself that way, but you can see if you're looking for a language and literacy program, this has really got a lot. There is a math one-to-one correspondence, science one-to-one, and what they call creative arts, that's visual and performing arts. Okay. So they have what they call social and emotional development in the Investigator Club, and social and emotional development is compares really closely. Now, what's interesting, the first domain of Volume 1 of the Preschool Learning Foundations is social and emotional development. It's number one. This one was listed last on the major curriculum areas. It's not that there's a priority, but usually the things you list first are the ones you really want to emphasize. Okay. The other thing is history, social science, physical development, health. Those were all included in the Investigator Club, but they were integrated in the other lessons. And then English language development is, like I said, there's Spanish, and it is available for purchase. You could buy a separate program for Spanish. And English language development, of course, with the learning foundations, Spanish, Chinese, Cambodian, all the different languages is it's not seen as something extra. It's not, well, the way I read it, it's seen as part of the curriculum, just a different, um, a different way of doing it or communicating. It's not something separate that you have to buy, obviously. Okay, so here's my takeaways. I just talked about that. Literacy and language orientation, one-to-one correspondence, literacy, math, science, creative arts, and social emotional development, um, and the integration of history, social science, health, and physical development. Um, Spanish language is available, but for significant additional cost. Okay, so here's my conclusion and recommendation. First, the program is attractive and inviting, great graphics. I think kids would really like it. It's comprehensive, it goes pretty deep. You can do a lot with what they give you in this program. It's adaptable, provides teacher choices for trying different things. Um, but like I said, it does have good patterns and structure. So it's helpful to teachers. It aligns well with preschool learning foundations. Here's my reservations. It's very expensive. A class set for all the investigations is $2,500. Um, and there's really could not find much evidence of classroom field tests or comparative tests of this program versus another program. Um, Here we go. I would recommend buy one investigation module, like the first one. Check it out. Costs about $250 and see if you like it. See if it's worth buying a whole classroom set. And if you really like it, then maybe go buy 2 or 3 classroom sets, depending on how many classrooms you have in your school. But I would probably buy one module and see how it goes before buying the whole set. Okay, I appreciate your time in watching this short screencast, and I hope you have a nice day.